10 possible ways that Chelsea can set up under Enzo Maresca going into the new seasons with the new acquisitions, the new signings in mind, as well as the old players. Now, if you are just joining me for the first time in this channel, I would like you to like and click the subscribe button so that you can always get my notifications when I post new videos on this channel, where we do a deep tactical dive into different formations and try to pick the mind of managers. And if you have always been here for a long time and you are yet to subscribe, please, this is the right time to do it. Now, Chelsea's last match was the Club World Cup final against PSG, the European champions, the best team in Europe last season. But again, they were totally destroyed, both tactically and otherwise, by Chelsea boys. And then in that match, we saw Chelsea set up with Sanchez, Chalobah, Colwill, Gusto, Cucurella, Caicedo, Enzo, Reece James, Neto, Cole Palmer, and João Pedro. Now, this formation was a surprise one to a lot of Chelsea fans, seeing Enzo Maresca start two right backs with James playing in the midfield and then Gusto playing as right back. A lot of fans before the match were unhappy with the lineup, but during the match they were very much happy with what Enzo Maresca has done and the results he gave to them. Now, do I think this formation is going to be one that will be consistent going forward? I do not think so. I do not think that Reece James playing in the midfield is going to be very important or is going to unlock low block defenses. I feel like it's good when he plays in the midfield against oppositions like PSG, where you need that physicality, where you need that energy to fight in the midfield, where the game is won in the midfield. But sometimes the games are not won in the midfield, but especially when you're playing against a team with a low block. Reece James playing in the midfield alongside Caicedo as a pivot, I think it lacks a lot of movement as well, or it works more when it's an open-ended game, when it's an open game, a box-to-box game like that of PSG. So I don't know what is your best lineup going forward. Do you think Gusto's performance in the last 3 games, which has been impressive or quite good, just because of him going forward or playing as an overlapping fullback, which he is, instead of him inverting, whether as a pivot here or inverting into the right half space or in the left half space when Chelsea has the ball, because he's not so comfortable in this position. He misses simple passes in this position, and he's not just himself but overlapping, holding the weight, whether it's him holding the weight or making those underlapping selfless runs. That is where he comes alive very much. That is where he thrives very much. And we saw him, how he was able to give Nuno Mendes a run for his money, how he's able to double up a lot of times against Nuno Mendes with Palmer here inverting and then doing damages. And when Cole Palmer inverts, that is where that is where his creativity is spot on. That is where he sees the pitch in 3D. That is where he sees it from a different perspective. Him inverting in this place. And to be honest, this is where I love to see Cole Palmer more, when he plays off of the right wing but inverts, because this is where he opens a lot of angles to even score. He knows how to cut in 1v1. He's very, very much efficient. And I'll continue to say it, Cole Palmer is a better 1v1 dribbler, or is more efficient 1v1 when set up in the final third against any defender, and is better than Chelsea wingers, despite the fact that those other guys have more speed or have more skills than him. But he just knows how to create that little separation to get a shot away or to get a pass or create a chance. So are we going to see this same lineup? Or are we going to see with Xavi Simons coming into Chelsea? Are we going to see Xavi Simons in the number 10 role, or are we going to see Xavi Simons in the left wing role? Mind you, if Xavi Simons plays in the left wing, then Chelsea will have to need an overlapping fullback. And I don't think Cucurella is a good overlapping fullback. Yes, he has mastered the art of inverting. I love him when he inverts, because he knows how to drift wide again to cover up for the space he has left here. And then also inverting into the left half space, he knows how to make those timely runs into the box to score a goal. Last season, we saw the number of goals that he was able to score doing these same things over and over again. And then he has learned that craft and learned how to time his runs going there, and how he has that area presence in the opposition box. So if you are going to start Xavi Simons here, then he has to if you're going to start Xavi Simons here, then he wouldn't be that line hogger. He have to be inverting and then Cucurella holding the weight. And I don't think this is going to, in some way, limit Cucurella's game, because it's not that one that is good 1v1 against, when left against his man, to take him on and to try to get a crossing. Yeah, so he will keep passing the ball back or just passing the ball into the midfield. I don't think he will be very much effective here. But again, if is that overlapping that has that robust space or explosive that we run in behind, then Xavi Simons can, drop deep, hold the ball, and try to play him in to cross the bar and stuff like that. But again, if he's not that guy, then Gittens will be better off starting on the left-hand side for Chelsea, or Tyreek George. They will be better off, so that he can, when he inverts into the midfield, to form the box midfield that Enzo Maresca wants, to form the box midfield, and then when the ball shifts to the right-hand side, he will be making this run on the shoulder or between the right centre-back and then the right back into the 18-yard box like he always does. And then that leads us to, if this midfield is not ideal, where Reece James plays in the midfield, so, and then Reece James plays as a right centre-back, because Enzo Maresca for now does not want him to join the attack. That means Chelsea is going to, when they have the ball, we are going to see Reece James forming a back three with these guys. Then we are going to see Caicedo, Enzo here. And when we see Caicedo, Enzo here, is it Palmer who is going to play as the number 10, where we have Pedro Neto here. Remember, Pedro Neto was Chelsea's best player in this Club World Cup, at least from the group stage to the quarter-final. It was the semi-final and final that he was not that same guy, especially after the death of Diego Jota, his dear friend. But before that, he was the one carrying Chelsea. He scored 3 goals. He was just 1 goal shy of being the highest goal scorer in the tournament. And again, in this, playing in this right wing, he proves to be such a great threat going forward. You understand? He's able to cut on his favorite foot and play a shot. He's able to make those in behind runs, cause a lot of threat with his speed. So I'm looking at what Enzo Maresca is going to do with Pedro Neto, finding a way to cause more threat and bring more goals to his numbers, playing on the right wing side. And then the fact that Palmer is still the best when he plays at the right hand side. He scores a lot of goals. We saw even against Real Betis in the conference final, when he was able to drop deep or find spaces in this right half side. That is where he crossed. Remember the first ball he crossed for Jackson, the second ball he crossed for Jackson, and then the first ball he crossed for Enzo. It was all on the right hand side. It was not anywhere in the middle. And I feel like he is the best creator. He is the best threat to go on this right hand side. So it's going to be a big dilemma, because one of them is going to sacrifice. Either Cole Palmer starts here or Neto starts, as Neto is here. Maybe they two can just play here, and then you sacrifice Reece James here, and they two can always try to run off and on of each other. Maybe sometimes he holds the width for Neto to cut in, and then Neto holds the width for him also to cut in as well. That might be another option then. But again, if that's the case, then we wouldn't have Xavi Simons, because Xavi Simons also needs an overlapping fullback to be in this place, because he's not that one that will take you on and run in behind you. So that's just it. But if Xavi Simons is going to play here, I'm going to see Xavi Simons play here while Cole Palmer is on the right hand side, and then Neto here. And then maybe we see a situation whereby they switch wings a lot. You understand? Sometimes Neto is going to switch to this place, and then Cole Palmer might come to the middle, and then we see Xavi Simons go to the left hand side, and then maybe we see Cucurella try to make runs, to drag out, not so much to receive the ball after making the runs, but to take out one man from Xavi Simons to cut in and be able to take a shot, And that is another way Chelsea can set up. Another way is that with João Pedro, are we going to see more of João Pedro as the number 9? Are we going to see Liam Delap as the number 9? Because these two guys are two different style of players, with Liam Delap being more of a traditional number 9 who is going to hold defenders, try to play with his back at goal a lot of times, trying to occupy the defenders, and thereby creating space for other players like Cole Palmer, Neto, and whoever is playing on the left wing to run into. You understand, by holding off of defenders. And then with João Pedro is more mobile, is more athletic. He's going to a lot of time drop into the midfield, to overload the midfield, to form a box midfield. And sometimes maybe if one of these guys, one of the defenders is inverting, maybe Reece James is inverting, then you have a situation where sometimes he inverts to have a 5 midfield shape, especially if the opponents have like our defending with a 4-4-2, you know, tight 4-4-2, then a lot of times you are going to see him try to drop to form that extra man into the midfield, and then to be that extra outlet that will bring Chelsea out from, you know, the pressing, the aggressive press from the opponent. So I'm just wondering what and how Enzo Maresca is going to use these guys. Are we going to see a different approach with different players on the pitch? You know, I think that will be I don't think Chelsea have a strict or disciplined way of playing now. I think it will be a lot more versatile, especially with the different players in the club or in different players in the team. The formation will tend to tweak a little. Like I said, if Xavi Simons is playing as the left winger, then Cucurella will have to be holding the width, you know, and him cutting into this place to join the midfield as well. But again, if he's playing, if Xavi Simons is playing as the number 10, and then maybe we see Neto play as the left winger, and then we see Cole Palmer start on the right wing, you know, understand? So, and again, if Gusto is starting, that also means that Gusto will be the one that will be joining and then forming the front five, you know. Gusto will be the one that will join, and then you will see Cucurella joining the back three, you understand? So when Gusto is playing, then we will see Gusto attacking and then Cucurella joining the defense. But if it's Reece James playing as the right back, then Cucurella will be the one joining the attack, and so on. So tell me on the comment section what you think would be the best for Chelsea going forward. Do you think it is time for Chelsea to continue playing Reece James in the midfield alongside Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez, or do you think that is just a one-off performance and it's only needed in games like against Newcastle, against Manchester City, against Liverpool, and against Arsenal? But going forward, playing against a low block, do you think it's good to start Gusto and then have Caicedo, Enzo, and then Xavi Simons in the midfield, or Caicedo, Enzo, and Cole Palmer in the midfield, while you have Xavi Simons and then you have Pedro Neto? And then as well, I even forgot to talk about Estavo. What role is he going to play coming to the Chelsea? I will do that on my next video. If you have listened to me or watched till this time, please do me a favor of liking and then subscribing, as well as sharing to your guys in other groups, and tell me your thoughts in the comment section. This is Football Matter, Catalyst and Analyst, the Football Pace Fire, and the Football Encyclopedia. Peace. No cheats.